so far.
Well, all the greats pad their stats. Shall we call it an even 10?
Even 10, yeah, even 10. And I think, 4 of those people deserved it? If that,
yes.
4 of those people, by the twisted logic of my dream zombies, deserve that.
Yeah, I mean, that guy with we axed at the swimming pool, he was just hired security.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know, like, a lot of guards that do celebrity bodyguard work. They're not part of international conspiracies. They can barely conspire to tie their fucking shoes. They're nice people just sitting there doing their job. He's just sitting there listening to music. And now he's got an axe in his neck. And
but if you're not with us, you're against us.
Yeah, I suppose. It's, that's what the reptilian resistance tell me.
Now, this is where puzzles get probably the most half-hearted they're ever going to get. Because, a hand, let's take it with us.
At this point, describing them as puzzles is a little bit generous.
And also a skull, let's take that with us.
It's like someone giving me just a completed picture and going, here you go, have a puzzle.
The skull doesn't have a purpose, but I'm taking it anyway. What is the skull's name? Come up with a name for the skull.
Bonehead.
No, that's terrible. The skull's name shall be Bartholomew.
Skulls Fuckington.
Actually, with this church, they kind of temporarily get back to making every single object pick-upable and interactable.
You can tell the things they did early on in the development process.
Well, I always say more developers should do that. Make the beginning of the game, then make the end of the game, then make all the stuff in between.
Start strong, end strong. Yeah. That's all the people remember.
Because if anything's shoddily done, it'll be the stuff in the middle that everyone will forget about.
I'm presuming this is where Pope Tentacles the Fourth is living at the moment.
Father O'Rourke?
Yeah.
Yes, this is apparently his base of operations.
Did you just pick shit up off that and put it on the ground?
Yeah, because we need to expose the slot.
Oh, right, I thought you were just wrecking shit up.
Now, I like this little detail. You try and eat a communion wafer and it says, it wouldn't seem right.
Yeah, that's the moral line.
That's where he draws it.
The funny thing is, that's exactly the Catholic mentality, too. It's like, what? Kill a bunch of people? Sure, you can do that. Don't fuck with the communion wafers, though.
No, body of Christ, man.
Yeah. What do you mean? You shot an innocent man who probably had kids and stuff to look after? That's fine. We forgive you. Don't touch the wafers.
The hole in the altar is pretty much the size of a human hand, is it? Well then, we know what to do with that.
Christ.
This unlocks the altar so we can push it. Spits on his hands. Classy.
Why would you need that to push something?
Oh, suck it up, Brian. You've murdered like 12 people today.
This is hard work. Not like axing that guy in the neck. That was just a walk in the park.
Yeah. Oh, I put all my weight into it, you see. All the energy's in the hips.
You gotta drive at the hips.
Now, in the previous section, having solved a puzzle with the item from the previous room, we are now going to solve a puzzle with items in the same room. Because that's how lazy we're getting.
That's... Words fail me at the moment.
So we're going to pick up these 3 gems... And can you tell what we have to do with them?
In that fucking thing that looks like a D3 behind you?
Yes, we put it in the...
You turn around, place them behind you.
Turn it around and put it in the tile right next to your feet.
That's about as much puzzle...
Yeah, this is like a puzzle from Quake.
Not even that. This isn't a puzzle. This is like...
3 buttons to go, 2 buttons to go, sequence completed.
This is like putting toothpaste on your toothbrush a puzzle. It's not. They're just 2 objects that interact with each other in the same room.
If any game would have had the ability to put toothpaste on your toothbrush, it would have been this one. But sadly not. You can only use inventory items on specific objects that allow you to. So if you right-click on them and press the use button, it'll go to your inventory, rather than just giving you some flavor text saying why you can't use it.
Well, now that's just fucking lazy, Riders of Dreamweb.
Yeah, and we are picking up these rocks for a purpose, and that purpose is that we're going to make our own little Japanese garden at the end of all this.
I thought you were going to stone a priest to death.
No, I think O'Rourke, when we get to him, will be slightly past being stoned to death.
And that's when you get cinder blocks.
That's another copy protection puzzle, but again, it's cracked, so you can just press the purple button to open the door.
Purple is a fruit.
I think there's a page... in the diary that this comes with, where there's a picture of a symbol that you have to create with those things. But it's not important. Now, this was presumably where Father O'Rourke was hanging out while he was waiting for his transition phase to arrive.
This is his kiddie porn dungeon?
Yes, indeed.
Every Catholic church has one.
Now we're going to play a prank on him for when he comes back.
I don't know, man. This guy strikes me as the kind of human being that likes a dead skull watching as he jerks off.
He's going to open that cupboard and it'll fall on him and you'll go, oh!
And then his hands will slide gently down his pants to his already half-hard dick.
Well, according to the plot, he's like very, very close to transforming into some transcended form, so
Resident Evil tentacle mass.
If he even has hands and
What's that
or
door?
a dick at that point, you never go in there. That's a red herring.
Brilliant.
Instead, we're going to gather more rocks. What is
I like
door?
being heavy.
That is actually a door in the bottom left of that wall in the previous room.
Did not even see a thing.
It's not hard to. It's not easy to see, but if you put your mouse over it, it does say that it's a door.
Yeah.
I think there's 8 rocks in total, and we do need them. Truly, we do. Although it's not that sophisticated a puzzle.
All right, okay. You put the rocks in the cart.
Yes, it's a cart.
Okay.
This is. I don't know that even the developers know what the hell this facility is supposed to be. It's like half catacomb, half mine now.
And what is it mining? Rocks?
Yeah, it's mining rocks so that you can sell them to people who buy pet rocks.
You just put some googly eyes on them and you can make $1 million. A guy did it in the 80s.
Yeah, there was a trend for them in the past, wasn't there?
That's
pet rocks. It was a very dumb trend, but then aren't they all?
I want to find all the people who bought pet rocks and offer them to buy the new craze pet knuckles.
You know you've put all the rocks in the cart when you use the cart, and instead of going to inventory, it just does that. So this is where we have to go, and we're very close to the final confrontation with the priest, Father O'Rourke, or whatever he has become.
So I can get some flavor text about, how it wasn't his fault and he was led astray by those tempting innocents.
Are you ready for this? What sort of thing are you expecting for the confrontation with O'Rourke?
I reckon he'll still be in priest form. I don't think they're gonna... I honestly don't think they're gonna put the effort into...
There he is. That's him. He has reached entropy.
What,
apparently.
That prolapsed vagina in the middle there?
I thought entropy was the inevitable decay of all things in the universe, not turning into
that's someone's read half of a physics paper.
Not becoming Captain Carbonara.
Okay, what?
So he's become some kind of Lovecraftian horror, apparently. And you know what?
Veiny.
This is...
Pulsate.
This is the conclusion of the O'Rourke plot. We never actually confront him. He made his exit in a form you cannot even imagine, down a big red tunnel, and we're just going to accept that as a job well done. Done. Moving on.
What?
Yep, that concludes O'Rourke's thing. Apparently, according to the Keepers, O'Rourke was a lesser target because he had less horrible intentions, or something, and that Beckett is the bigger threat. I don't know.
That's fucking...
Like I said, that they were really rushing things by this point.
That is gapingly fucking horrible.
Do you want another example of how rushed things are getting?
Yeah.
Beckett is 2 rooms away. He's 2 rooms away from where O'Rourke was.
Maybe you can fill me in here, because I'm not even sure how we got to a train station. I looked away for 30 seconds to yawn.
Well, we went down a hole.
Okay. Oh, right, of course.
Yes, we went down a hole. That's it. That's pretty much it.
That's usually how cities are structured. There's city, bizarre dungeon catacombs filled with tentacle priests.
And then the subway system
stations
just underneath that. Don't ask where the plumbing pipes go.
So, I'm just perplexed with this idea that people would figure out, I should just go. I mean...
So we'll just follow the tracks.
I'd still be...
We'll go through this hole in the wall.
At this stage, I'd still be certain that fucking Rourke's going to show up.
There he is. There's Beckett. There's Dr. Beckett.
Dr. Beckett.
Now, this is our last plot dump, and I want you to try and figure out what the hell this game is about from it.
The king and queen are dead. Just a joker remains, but not to save the day.
Don't read it all out loud. I presume our viewers have the ability to read.
You presume an awful lot.
I presume so.
I mean, remember, this stuff goes up on YouTube. YouTube's the unliteracy.
Don't insult our audience.
Not insulting our audience, I'm insulting the audience that deserves to be insulted.
I like the detail, incidentally, that Beckett is waiting for your arrival, watching TV and playing cards around.
Oh, is that what he's doing?
Yeah, because if this was like Resident Evil, he'd have been sitting in a swivel chair facing away from us.
I spend at least 20% of my day sitting in a swivel chair facing a wall, just waiting.
Just waiting for someone to come in.
Anybody.
So this is actually the final confrontation of the game.
Yeah, this is way more interesting than a tentacle priest.
Once he's finished gabbing off, and Ryan, it never occurs to Ryan to just pull his gun and shoot the motherfucker in the face while he's gabbing off about who knows
Which is
what.
weird, because it's occurred to him for every other thing in the game.
Well, I don't think he's ever shot someone in the middle of a conversation. I guess he's
just
like that.
Just in the middle of fucking and...
Incidentally, he's still wearing his sunglasses in an underground tunnel, so he's probably not even sure there's a person in front of him.
Neil Gaiman. He does look like I keep making that joke, but fuck, it looks like him.
He really does look like Neil Gaiman. Shaggy head.
I'm guessing the kind of people who'd write something called Dreamweb in 1991 probably a bit kind of Neil Gaiman-y fans.
Okay, I think the conversation's coming to an end now. So how do you think we solve this puzzle?
Shoot him.
No. You're wrong.
Fuck me sideways. Well,
No, I couldn't tell you why we can't shoot him. Just for some reason, if you try to... You can't even save at this point, so if you fail, you have to, reload from before the conversation.
Oh, that's genius.
And you can't even open your inventory anymore.
So
it just doesn't let And he just jumps on you and kills you. He kills the fuck out of you, incidentally.
What the fuck did they use to get that sound effect? Sounds like a prostitute's vagina vomiting in Klingon.
Well, I had to find similar sound effects for my game Poacher, which is now out, by the way.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Ryan renews his status as the Mr. Bean of serial killers.
Hello, I'm a superhero. What's your name? Ass first. The universe just giddily fucking guides me to success. But first.
I think it's very unfair that Ryan still gets a quickening from that one. I think the train should have been given that one.
Yeah, somewhere there's a fucking subway driver who can punch through a wall now.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't want to have to chase him. Yay, we've beaten the game.
The commanding positions have been filled.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck any of this means. Apparently we've won. Apparently we've done the job. The Dreamweb is now safe.
Your task is finished.
The Dreamweb is safe from a bunch of lunatics who were just spouting garbage in your face.
It looks like a Fremen, the blue within blue eyes.
But I'm sure this all made sense inside Ryan's head.
I don't think it even did that. This guy's a shitty delusionary lunatic.
Yeah, he really has phoned his delusions in.
You've saved our dreams.
Yay.
Honestly, I have fucked up dreams, and I even...
creepily at us for a bit.
I'm not going anywhere. You have to leave. I get fucked up dreams. I get very lucid dreams. I still wouldn't consider them an issue worth dealing with. At no point in my day.
What do you know? The cops bought a clue.
Where are you leaving from?
I think it's a train station. Actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a train station.
So you didn't just teleport somewhere this time?
Yeah, and now the cops have finally tracked you down, presumably by one of the several thousand methods we suggested throughout the course of this Let's Play.
From every fucking clue you left behind.
So how are we going to get out of this one? Just kidding, there's no way to get out of this one. That's how the game ends.
I bet they thought they were so fucking edgy when they did that.
I think that describes pretty much all creative endeavors that were made in the 90s.
Edgy. Yeah, there were two things in the 90s. Either Dayglow radical or fucking noir edgy.
Now here we see an example of something I see in a lot of indie games, especially in mine, which I like to call credit padding syndrome. Because everyone wants to have a long and interesting credit sequence so the player can go, and relax. But because there's only three guys worked on this...
so Stephen Marley's responsible for this nonsense.
Oh, well, he just wrote the attached... This game came with an attached bit of fiction called the Diary of a Madman, and that was written by that guy, apparently.
It would be a fun thing to do, actually find out who was responsible for the story and write them a handwritten letter all this time later demanding a resolution to this conundrum. What happened to Father O'Rourke, and was Ryan really insane?
See, they've already run out of things to credit. They've credited the town in which they made the
England,
game.
Which, to be fair, I don't think really had a relevant sort of effect on the game itself.
And it's not even special thanks. They're just saying hello to people now.
Greetings, yeah. Sup, dude.
There's a guy called Sartain there. Thanks for letting us use your name as a person you get to kill.
The last bit should just be a sort of message from one of the developers to the other about them getting dinner later on in the week. Oh yeah, by the way, Helen says don't bring anything, but you know what she's like. Just show up with some dip and chips or something.
Carol Nuds. I bet she is.
Lorraine Lethbridge. The Bridgemans. The Strouds.
And the
Madhouse.
I think that's the share house where they all lived.
Probably, bunch of private school boys, it's a bit crazy.
And
Nick at Novatech.
Someone who has misspelled their own name there. Steve Griffiths.
Sounds like a fourth stage navigator talking.
For Ray,
and whoever.
Talk about non-committal dedication. And whoever, whatever.
Even stopped giving a fuck about their own thanks.
I think Ray felt kind of special for 1 second until he read the next part.
For Ray, but don't feel too special about yourself because we don't really care.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits of energy came out of your body. 1 for every person you actually killed yourself.
And then back down to...
And then, as before, the electronics are interfered with and a ticket comes out of the machine. Remember that.
That's one of those games where if they still cared while they were making it, could have actually been really quite good.
You want to know something interesting?
Yes.
Creative Reality still has a website.
Well, so does Space Jam. That doesn't...
Yeah, well, I looked at the Creative Reality website and all the links don't work. It's just a front page.
Yeah, nothing dies on the internet, man. It just sits there.
Although, interestingly, they take credit for a game called Myth, History in the Making, that I played on the Commodore 64, which I thought was made by another company called System 3, so perhaps Creative Reality absorbed them. I don't know.
There's perhaps a really not interesting story in that.
Yes, I regret bringing it up now.
That's dull.
So, as you were saying, yes, this actually had some interesting ideas.
I know, like,
the whole hotel section that they used for the demo, that was actually good, had good puzzles.
Yeah. There's a good game idea in there, and even a good story, if anybody bothered.
With innovative mechanics.
Yeah.
I liked the ability to pick up pretty much everything.
If it had that ability and had an open and relatively logical puzzle and solution system, and like a lot of puzzles, like you know, like a fair few puzzles, but have them logical, so you could look at that and go, all right, I need to pry it open with something. I can use a butter knife, I can use a knife I found here, I could use a crowbar.
Yeah, I mean, in Zack McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders, there are loads of puzzles that have all kinds of items you can use, like if you there's like a trapdoor you have to open. You can use one of like 50 different lever-like objects.
See, that's what I mean.
If you try to use the butter knife to open it, you get a bent butter knife, which I think is a nice little detail.
So that's what I mean, and that would have really helped the game stand out from all the absurd adventure games. I mean, as much as I love Sam and Max Hit the Road, the solutions to those problems are bumble-fucking-sane.
Yeah, well, you can't say this game wasn't absurd, but not absurd in terms of puzzle logic.
Yeah, in terms of puzzle logic. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it could have had a logical puzzle layout.
If only they'd swallowed their pride and hired a fourth guy.
A whole fourth human being.
Yes. So, I hope you enjoyed this little adventure into 90s edginess.
I fucking did!
What do you have in mind for our next little exploration, Gabe? Because it's your turn next.
Yeah, I've got something. It'll be recorded better for everyone who really fucking cared about that.
I was going to say, are you not going to record it like a complete spaz this time?
At least I remember to turn microphones on, Yahtzee.
Yes, I think we did a pretty good job of making this commentary seem like we hadn't done it before, didn't I?
Fucking impromptu. Completely fresh. Not like we did this all 2 days ago.
I wonder if anyone picked up on that.
Yeah, there's probably someone raising their hand on fucking YouTube or whatever right now. But no, I have picked something. It's old. It's got way shittier graphics than this. It's a text insert from, I think, 91, if memory serves correctly.
I've already guessed what it is from earlier conversations, but I will keep it secret. Anyway, this post-video spiel has gone on long enough. So say goodbye, Gabriel.
Toodaloo.
Goodbye, Yahtzee.
Goodbye, Yahtzee.
Goodbye, Yahtzee.
Goodbye, Yahtzee.
I think I screwed that up.
So far.
Well, all the greats pad their stats. Shall we call it an even 10?
Even 10, yeah, even 10. And I think, 4 of those people deserved it? If that.
If that, yes.
4 of those people, by the twisted logic of my dream zombies, deserve that.
Yeah, I mean, that guy with we axed at the swimming pool, he was just hired security.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know, like, a lot of guards that do celebrity bodyguard work. They're not part of international conspiracies. They can barely conspire to tie their fucking shoes. They're nice people just sitting there doing their job. Who's just sitting there listening, who probably had kids and stuff to look after. That's fine. We forgive you.
Oh,
Don't touch the wafers.
The hole in the altar is pretty much the size of a human hand, is it? Well then, we know what to do with that.
Christ.
This unlocks the altar so we can push it. Spits on his hands. Classy.
Why would you need that to push something?
Oh, suck it up, Brian. You've murdered like 12 people today.
This is hard work. Not like axing that guy in the neck. That was just a walk in the park.
Yeah. Oh, I put all my weight into it, you see. All the energy's in the hips.
Living at the moment.
Father O'Rourke?
Yeah.
Yes, this is apparently his base of operations.
Did you just pick shit up off that and put it on the ground?
Yeah, because we need to expose the slot.
Oh, right. I thought you were just wrecking shit up.
Now, I like this little detail. You try and eat a communion wafer and it says, it wouldn't seem right.
Yeah, that's the moral line.
That's where he draws it.
The funny thing is, that's exactly the Catholic mentality, too. It's like, what? Kill a bunch of people? Sure, you can do that. Don't fuck with the communion wafers, though.
No, body of Christ, man.
Yeah. What do you mean you shot an innocent man? Head.
No, that's terrible. The skull's name shall be Bartholomew.
Skulls Fuckington.
Actually, with this church, they kind of temporarily get back to making every single object pick-upable and interactable.
You can tell the things they did early on in the development process.
Well, I always say more developers should do that. Make the beginning of the game, then make the end of the game, then make all the stuff in between.
Start strong, end strong. Yeah. That's all the people remember.
Because if anything's shoddily done, it'll be the stuff in the middle that everyone will forget about.
I'm presuming this is where Pope Tentacles the Fourth is the music, and now he's got an axe in his neck, and...
but if you're not with us, you're against us.
Yeah, I suppose. It's, that's what the reptilian resistance tell me.
Now, this is where puzzles get probably the most half-hearted they're ever going to get. Because, a hand, let's take it with us.
At this point, describing them as puzzles is a little bit generous.
And also a skull, let's take that with us.
It's like someone giving me just a completed picture and going, here you go, have a puzzle.
The skull doesn't have a purpose, but I'm taking it anyway. What is the skull's name? Come up with a name for the skull.
Bone.